गोरखाओं की आवाज को बुलंद करने के लिए चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और खबर को लाइक शेयर करें।
माननीय उपसभापति महोदय जी और इस गरिमामय सदन के आदरणीय सदस्यगणों, सबसे पहले मुझे इस प्रतिष्ठित सदन में अपना पहला वक्तव्य रखने का अवसर देने के लिए मैं आप सभी का हृदय से धन्यवाद करता हूं। मैं माननीय राष्ट्रपति महोदय और हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के प्रति अपनी गहन कृतज्ञता प्रकट करता हूं, जिन्होंने मुझे भारतीय संसद के इस सम्माननीय सदन के लिए मनोनीत किया। आज इस सम्मानित सदन को अगाड़ी मेरो पहला संभाषण मो एउटा डिप्लोमेट को रूप में मात्र हैन, तर 4 दशक को लागि देश को सेवा गरेको व्यक्ति को रूप में म तपाईहरुको अगाडि छु। आज देश को सेवा र मेरो इलाका दार्जिलिङ को जनता को सेवा में म फेरि यहाँ आइपुगेको छु, तर एउटा नयाँ क्षमतामा। এই সদনের সব সদস্যকে আমি বলতে চাই যে আমি আমার দায়িত্ব দিল দিয়ে ভালোভাবে পালন করব। আমি দেশের উন্নয়ন, গণতন্ত্রের পরিভাষা আর মানুষের কাজের জায়গা আরো ভালো করার চেষ্টা করব। Honorable Deputy Chairman, sir, as a new entrant to the House, I wish to share some of my views on this very important discussion taking place today. My views are based not only on my experience as a diplomat, but also in the intensive consultations that I have had with stakeholders, partners, informed and uninformed opinion, both within our country and outside. And I want to make a few brief points. And the first of the point is, what is Op Sindoor? And I think on the night of the 7th of May, we saw a very precise, highly calibrated, intelligence-driven strike in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And as Honorable Raksha Mantri have told us, those strikes were targeted at terrorist entities that have been waging a war of terrorism against our country. हमने पाकिस्तान के सीना में, पाकिस्तान के पंजाब प्रोविंस के मुरिड के और भावलपुर प्रोविंस में छापा मारा और जैसे रक्षा मंत्री जी ने बताया, इससे 100 से ज्यादा आतंकवादी खत्म हुए और इनमें से कई ऐसे आतंकवादी भी थे जो यूएन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल के मोस्ट वांटेड टेररिस्ट के लिस्ट में भी थे। और इससे हमने न सिर्फ हमारे देश का हित पूरा किया, पर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय समाज, इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी का काम भी हमने करवाया। And I think if you look at the fact that this is the first time India has employed AI-enabled satellite surveillance and hyperspectral imaging in a live op, allowing for precise targeting in complex terrain, we have to congratulate our armed forces, congratulate our scientists, and congratulate those who have given us the vision of an Atmanirbhar Bharat in our ability to destroy our enemies and those who are opposed to us in a manner that is so precise that not one single person, not a single collateral damage has taken place outside of those terrorists who were killed. And I think that is a great achievement, and we must salute our armed forces in this regard. Now, after the Pahalgam terrorist attacks, I think there is not a single country that did not condemn in the strongest terms this particular attack. And if you see the UN Security Council in a statement of the 25th of April, it specifically states that the perpetrators, organizers, sponsors, and financiers of this reprehensible act, which is the Pahalgam Act of terrorism, should be held accountable and brought to justice. And we have done exactly that. As per international law, we had the right to go after terrorists. Article 51 of the UN Charter states that the country has a right to self-defense, and today that is increasingly being interpreted as being that those non-state actors that indulge in terrorist activities with impunity in another sovereign state can also come under this act of self-defense. And India has exercised the act of self-defense, and I think what we have done, very few countries in the world have really dared to do. There are other examples. The United States has used Article 51 in attacks against the Taliban, against the ISIS, and we have used Article 51 in eliminating terror bases that have been opposed to us in the heart of Pakistan. And I think that is a great testament in many senses also to the fact that today we have organizations like BRICS, we have the Quad, that have condemned in the strongest terms this terrorist attack, and the fact that countries like Saudi Arabia have mentioned the word cross-border terrorism. Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi was in Saudi Arabia when this terrorist attack took place on 22nd April. And at that time, the Saudis were shocked that an attack could take place while the Prime Minister was there. And keep in mind that Pakistan has had long-standing historical ties with Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia has in their statement put out that this was an act of cross-border terrorism, which means that this attack of terrorism has come from Pakistan into India. And that also, I think, is a great diplomatic achievement on our side, that a country like Saudi Arabia has recognized that Pakistan is responsible for this act of terrorism. The third point I want to make is the success of our global diplomacy. I was a part of the all-party parliamentary delegation that went out. I think most parties represented in this House participated in those delegations. And that was probably the largest such diplomatic exercise that our country has ever undertaken. Perhaps in the wake of the Bangladesh refugee crisis in 1971, we undertook a similar exercise, but not as large, as ambitious, and well organized and coordinated as this one. I was in a delegation that went to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Algeria. These are countries where Pakistan has expended its most political capital. And these countries received us very warmly. They received us at the highest levels. They were also amazed that this one delegation consisting of 7 people represented 7 different languages, 5 different religions, and several political dispensations. And yet, when it came to issues of national interest, we spoke in one voice. And that is what was the most amazing thing to all our interlocutors. And when we spoke to them, or rather when they spoke to us informally, they were very, very sympathetic. They said, your message on Op Sindoor has been loud and clear. It is a very, very strong message. We know that Pakistan is behind these acts of terrorism, and we will work closely with you in using our leverage in organizations like FATF, the UN Security Council, World Bank, and other places to keep Pakistan in check. And I think, again, this is very important, because when you look at the fact that these countries in the Gulf 10 to 15 years ago had a very indifferent relationship with us, one of some mutual suspicion where Pakistan had a very important role. Today, आज अगर हम हमारे द्विपक्षीय रिश्ते इन देशों से देखें, गल्फ देशों से, सऊदी अरेबिया, कुवैत वगैरह, तो एक बहुत ही बड़ा परिवर्तन आया है, और इसका कारण है प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का खुद का जो इन्होंने जो एफर्ट्स किए, इनके लीडर्स के साथ संबंध बनाना, ये हम आज इसका नतीजा हम देख रहे हैं. And today we are regarded, Mr. Chair, as a country that is a responsible global power, a country that is the fourth largest economy in the world, an economic powerhouse, a repository of technology and human resources talent, and for countries like in the Gulf, most importantly, a long-term, safe destination for their investments. And again, we have seen several comments today which have been, in many senses, derogatory of the sense that India is a country that is today on the rise. It has been derogatory of the leadership that is today exercised by us. It has been derogatory of our defense, security and foreign policy. And I think it is very important, if you take the example of our interactions with foreign delegates, it is very important that we speak in one voice. हमें एकता दिखाना चाहिए, हम एकजुट होना चाहिए, जबकि हमारे राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा और विदेश नीति के मुद्दों पे हम बात करते हैं. I think that's very important from a point of view of a practitioner.
This is a maiden speech. We generally don't interrupt. Yeah.
Sir,
carry on.
I'm only sharing my opinion, sir.
Continue.
I mean, these are my views, and I'm telling you from the point of view of a person who has seen the world. Now,
Continue.
if you look at the world today, there is a great amount of uncertainty. Conflicts are on the rise. Every part of the world is witnessing conflicts. There is a great level of indebtedness of developing countries. There are issues like climate change and sustainable development which have been left on the wayside. The world is today divided in a certain sense in a strategic rivalry between certain powers. And in that, global governance institutions are failing us. And in this situation, many countries, especially countries in the global south, have looked up to India and have said that if there is any country that can provide solutions to the global challenges of the day, it is India under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And I think that is very, very important. अगर हम एक विकसित भारत बनना चाहते हैं और अगर हम ये सफर एक साथ में सफल होना चाहते हैं तो हमें एकता दिखानी होगी, हमें एक आवाज से, एक जवाब से बात करनी होगी जो मुद्दे हमारे लिए महत्वपूर्ण है, जो मैंने कहा राष्ट्रीय मुद्दे. And I think I just saw some members talking about basically press statements, comments issued by other foreign governments. And let me tell you, every country issues these statements. Every country makes its statements. Every leader of these countries also makes public statements on other countries that suits their interest. We don't have to fall into that narrative. The only narrative that matters is India's narrative. भारत का जो है, हमारे लिए जो महत्वपूर्ण है, हमें वही कहना चाहिए और ये हमारे लिए बहुत ही जरूरी है. Thank you for giving me the time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.